Okay, so when you get into the game for the first time, you'll see down in the bottom right that a dialogue pops up, and this is Ori, who will be guiding you through a couple of missions to begin with that are just some very sort of gentle tutorials to teach you the absolute basics. And if you read through the dialogue boxes and prompt through, she'll show you how to access your journal and your missions, and here we can see a couple of steps sort of dedicated to show you how to interact with agents, which is an important thing. So if you click on the dialog box to speak with Ori, you can see your first mission. And for this particular one, it's all about going out and getting your first ship. So if you accept that mission and then hit the undock button, which is down in the bottom left, you'll end out in space. And the first thing that we're going to run through a little bit here is how to use your camera and then how to warp around. So they're all fairly self-explanatory, and just reading the dialog boxes and having a play around is probably the best way to get familiar with it. What we're going to do is warp to the agent mission location, which Aura tells you how to get to. Once you get there, you'll land on grid and you will see a small ship floating in space called a Velotor. Now, this has been nice for me. We've landed within 2,500 meters, which is how close you need to be able to board something. So here we go. Here's our Velotor, and what we need to do is go to the overview, right click on the ship and simply select board ship. And doing that will place you into this new ship. And here we go. So once we've done that, the next thing we're going to do is select the acceleration gate that you can see in the overview. It's floating next to you, and simply right click on that and select the activate gate option. And that will fire us into the next room, if you want to call it, of this little mission site. Once you get into the next room, you'll see there's this big sort of station thing floating out in front of you. You just need to fly over and approach that so that you're within this 2.5 kilometer range, and then you'll be able to access the cargo hold of this structure. And there we'll see the particular item that we need to get for this mission. So there's two ways that you can get this. You can either select the loot all button as shown, or you can click on the item itself and drag it into your ship. And then we see it's in our cargo bay. Right, once we've done that, next thing is to head back to our station and dock up. So you can either right click on the station shown in the overview and select dock, or click it and then choose dock from your actions menu. And so I'll go ahead and do that, and we'll head back to station. Rightio, once we're back in, we go to the Agents tab and reinitiate the conversation. We can see that there's a tick arrow next to our objectives, so we can complete that mission and hand it in. And what we get in terms of reward for this is a skill book called Repair Systems. Now, EVE is focused around skills, so in order to be able to do things in EVE you need to have skills trained to do it. And there are hundreds and hundreds of skill books out there for you to train and learn. There's 5 levels for each skill. Obviously, each level increases your abilities or gives you access to better items or modules for the same thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up our inventory, and we can see that we've got our skill book sitting there. Now, skill books can be found in a number of ways. In the early stages of the game, you'll get some skill books as mission rewards. Otherwise, all of the skill books can generally be found on the marketplace, so you can purchase them either off other players, or the majority of them are seeded from NPC sell orders. So we'll just right click on this skill and select train now to level 1, and that will automatically add it into our skill training queue. And that's as easy as leveling up in EVE is. It's pretty much just a case of training skills, and all of this happens in the background as you're doing other more exciting stuff. So we've got our new ship. It's let's open up the fitting service, and there it is. As you can see, there's 3 different types of slots available on a ship. They're called highs, mids and lows. Each of them have got a little different graphic, so high slots have 3 bars, mid slots have 2, and low slots have 1. Now Aura's been kind enough to give us a couple of modules here, so we've got a blaster cannon and an armor repair unit. So we're going to select and drag modules onto their respective slot locations. And to know where a module is meant to be fitted, each module in its little icon will have a similar 3, 2 or 1 bar icon to represent whether it's a high, mid or a low module. So let's undock and we'll go do this mission. So same process, you walk to the mission location. In this case we land in space and there's an acceleration gate, and Aura's given us some ammo, which is always useful. You kind of need that to use your guns. So what we're going to do is right click on our blaster and select the anti-matter charge that Aura has given us, and that will start loading into the weapons, and there we go. So we've got our anti-matter charges loaded, and there's lots of different types of ammunition. Each ammunition goes with a particular weapon system. So in this case, hybrid charges get used with blasters because they're a hybrid class weapon. Okay, so we approach the acceleration gate, get within 2.5 clicks and activate it, and this will throw us into the next room, and this is where the fun starts. We get to blow something up. So we land here and we see that there's a giant egg-shaped structure that we need to blow up. Now you'll notice that there isn't anything in your overview to select, but if you right click in the middle of the egg, you can select lock target, and that will bring up the structure, and then it's simply a matter of clicking on the module and you'll see that your gun starts cycling, the structure starts taking damage, and then kaboom. Okay, now that's a sound that you generally don't want to be hearing, but what it's telling you is that your shields have gotten low, and as you can see, that's even dipped into your armor. So luckily Aura expected this, and she's given us our small armor repairer. So if we go and click on that module, you'll see that it starts cycling, and you'll see that your armor hit points start restoring themselves back up to 100%. The other thing you'll notice also is that the shield for your ship naturally regenerates back up to full. So that's an important distinction between shields and armor, is that shields will automatically regenerate themselves, whereas armor won't. You have to have a module fitted to be able to repair armor. Having said that though, you can also fit modules onto your ship which will help restore your shields faster. But we'll get onto that a little bit later when we start looking at some more advanced fitting skills. But what you do is you will then be asked to approach that second acceleration gate that was in that room, and that will throw you here, and we actually get to shoot at another ship. So similar thing, you can right click on the ship in your overview, select target, alternatively you can click on it in space. I then go and hit the orbit button so that I'm actually flying around and orbiting this target, and you just activate your weapon systems and boom, like a boss, it's dead. But we've got a second wave, so we've got another saboteur that we need to kill. Same thing, target it in your overview, activate your weapon systems when you get close enough to it, and it'll start taking damage and quickly die, which is the way I like it to happen. And there we go, big chunks out of shield, bleeding into armor. There we go. And dead. Mission complete. Okay, so right click back on the station, dock up, and that's this mission done. And we'll carry on shortly.
Warp drive active.